Hey everybody, sorry for all the glare. It is first thing in the morning. I just got the lights turned on, so all that glare you're seeing is actually a reflection off of my waterfall tank. I normally would turn that off before I start shooting video in this tank, but right now my little South American Bumblebee Catfish is out first thing when the lights come on, and I rarely ever get a chance to see this fish or get video of it, so if I've got the opportunity to, I'm just going to go ahead and grab my camera and get it. So unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with a little bit of glare in this video. But that is a pretty good look at my South American Bumblebee Catfish. And now that you can see where it is, imagine if you didn't know there was a fish right there and I just showed you a photo of that. You'd have no idea you were looking at a fish until that thing moves. Really, really well camouflaged. So it's no wonder it's so hard to see in the tank and it's so reclusive. For one thing, it does sort of burrow and hide in the caves. It normally goes off to the left down there, which my other catfish is just now poking out of. I guess maybe that explains why the Bumblebee Catfish was no longer down there. But that's where the Bumblebee Catfish normally hides, down in that little hole that the Synodontis just came out of. That was a Synodontis lucipinnis. I actually bought that catfish as a Synodontis petricola. And they're really, really hard to tell the difference between the two. But over time, a petricola would have gotten larger, would have gotten about maybe 5 inches. That fish never ever grew in the maybe 8 years that I've had it. It is still just a little tiny catfish, not much bigger than the size that I bought it. So that would indicate that it is a lucipinnis. So I'm pretty sure that that is a Synodontis lucipinnis and not a petricola that I purchased it under. And then of course this one is just a South American Bumblebee Catfish. And there are a lot of different fish that fall into the classification of Bumblebee Catfish. There's a ton of very, very similar species. They all come from the same area, the same region. Sometimes it might be subspecies within the same species. Sometimes they might be completely different species. But there's a lot of different fish that get lumped into the Bumblebee Catfish category. So I couldn't tell you exactly which one this is. I just bought it as a South American Bumblebee Catfish years ago, and I've just kind of had it hiding in the tank ever since. So that's about it. That's about the only look we're going to really get at it, I think. And that gives you a pretty good look at the enormity of the thing's mouth. So don't underestimate what they can and will eat in your tank. For as small as that fish is, the whole entire front end of that opens up and becomes basically a feeding tube. You can just shovel food down one end and it eventually comes out the other. But that fish can eat a surprisingly large amount of food for its size. So if you've got any smaller fish in the tank, they will disappear overnight if you've got one of these catfish, even though they look pretty small. So there you go, just a look at my Bumblebee Catfish. My green giant angelfish is still about the same as it has been. It was not floating upside down or anything this morning when I turned the lights on. It was upright, but I also just did a big water change a couple days ago, and it's got fresh water in there now. It seems like I need to do a water change every few days on this tank. Otherwise that angelfish really starts to suffer and swim around kind of funny, so I really have to keep up on top of the maintenance of this tank. It's an old angelfish. I kind of feel like it's kind of winding its time down. You can see it just kind of got caught in the current by the spray bar, and that was enough to sort of knock it off kilter a little bit. When it's near the power head, it tends to sort of drift towards the power head, like it can't really resist the current. So I think it's just aging out. It's getting old. They don't live forever, and that one's, you know, probably at least 8 years old by now. So we'll see what happens. When it dies, we'll start making some changes to this tank. We'll do something different to it. I might try doing a group of angelfish in here. Maybe we'll get a bunch of small ones and have them grow out, and I can separate them, you know, as they become problematic. Maybe we'll get a couple that pair off or something. Probably going to leave it angelfish tank. I'm a really, really big fan of angelfish, but you never know. There's a lot of other fish out there I've never tried. I've always wanted to do something like an Acara or something like that. I don't know if a 55 gallons is a big enough tank for that, but possibly. We'll see. So there you go, just a quick update on a Friday morning. I am about to go get my day started, and I don't know what it will entail after this. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything I got coming up. You never know what it's going to be with me. I will try to get back in here later today and get a little more work done. Maybe we'll get another video today. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say again, thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.